7:03 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order. Can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Please remain standing for a moment of silence for first responders and military members. Thank you. Monica, could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Present.
Councilmember Moran?
Present.
Councilmember King?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Present.
Mayor Aguilar?
Present.
For the record, council members and mayor are in attendance.
Thank you. Council, any changes to the agenda? Or staff?
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
We have done some changes to our discussion item to the contract, and staff is requesting to bring a clean copy of that contract to the council at a later date.
Okay. Council, any opposition to that? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and table item number 10, which is a discussion item in regards to the fire service agreement with Merced County, to a later date. We're going to go ahead. Any other changes, council? All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our citizen comments. This section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the city council on any other item not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized by myself, should come forward and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes in accordance with state open meeting laws. No action will be taken by the city council this evening. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the city council as each item is brought up for discussion. Do we have any citizen comments at this time in person?
Mayor, council members, I am here today to talk about two topics that I feel we've been ignoring. The city attorney, one you all, except for Councilmember Moran, elected or chose to be a part of our city, has been spending thousands of dollars on draft ordinances that have never been brought forward to a public council meeting. Why are you, Mayor Aguilar, Councilmember Soto, Garcia, and King, and Moran, allowing this to happen? Who is authorizing all this spending? With that in mind, Councilmember Soto, were you the person who requested the city attorney work on a draft cannabis pilot program? If not you, then who? I remember when direction was given to the city attorney and the city manager months ago to prepare for a public workshop on cannabis. This workshop was to gather feedback from the community about what potential amendments to our cannabis ordinance would be acceptable. Why did we spend thousands of dollars on a draft pilot cannabis business when we haven't even had a workshop to find out where the city stands or the community? Thank you.
Any other citizen comments in person? Anybody on the phone? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to awards, presentations, and proclamations. We have 3 tonight. The first presentation will be by myself. So last week it was Fire Prevention Week, so we did do a proclamation. So I'm going to read it real quick. Whereas the City of Livingston is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our city. Whereas a fire is a serious public concern. Whereas fires cost $200 2,580 civilian deaths in the U.S. in 2020, according to the NEPA, and fire departments in the U.S. responded to 356,000 home fires, and whereas working smoke alarms cut the chance of dying in reported fire in half, and residents who have planned and practice a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. Whereas informing the public about the importance of smoke alarm installations, maintenance serves essential steps towards increasing public safety. Whereas the Livingston residents are responsive to public education measures are better able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire. Whereas the 2022 Fire Prevention Week theme, Fire One Wait, Plan Your Escape, effectively serves to remind Livingston, California, it is important to have a home fire escape plan. Now, therefore, the City of Livingston Council does hereby proclaim October 9th to the 15th, 2022 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Livingston. So that's one proclamation, and we have a second one. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we want to make sure we recognize that, and as a council, we have a proclamation, so I'm going to go ahead and read that. Whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and 1 in 8 American women is diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in her life, and whereas breast cancer is the most commonly recognized cancer among women in the nation. And whereas in the U.S. in 2022, over 300,039 new cases of breast cancer are projected to be diagnosed in women, whereas one woman will be diagnosed with breast cancer every 2 minutes, and one woman will die of breast cancer every 13 minutes. Whereas every woman is at risk for breast cancer, even if she has no family history or other risk factors of the disease, whereas early detection can be an extremely effective tool. Timely screening mammograms could prevent 25% of all deaths, whereas 98% of all breast cancer patients survive when the disease is detected early, and there are over 2.9 million breast cancer survivors in the U.S. Whereas October is designated as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, whereas a community organization, churches, and work sites can play a special role in educating members or employees about breast cancer. Now, therefore, the City of Livingston Council does hereby proclaim the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and encourages all citizens to learn the fact about breast cancer. So thank you for that proclamation, Council. And with that said, we also have a special guest, Martha Nateras, regarding breast cancer awareness. So if you could come forth and just, she has a few words for us tonight. And thank you so much for coming and taking the time. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for inviting me. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for making this proclamation. It's really an honor, and I am privileged to receive. I will be taking the certificate, right? All right, thank you. Thank you on behalf of the American Cancer Society. I proudly accept it. Also, I was recently honored and privileged with becoming the ambassador for the North Valley, including my hometown, Livingston. Last Thursday, in this location, I hosted an evening of awareness. I am still seeking volunteers to host more events. The title of ambassador, it's a one-year commitment. And with this year, I'm to raise as much money as I can for the Cancer Association. But what I would like to stress to everyone here, that the money that is raised stays locally in our communities and is to help families who have been affected by cancer. Cancer helps in many, many ways. A few to mention are that they provide gas cards for those that are seeking treatment and have financial, hardship. And they also pay for hotels and even groceries. And as everyone knows here, cancer affects everyone. Everyone has someone in their family or knows of someone. I know I personally have had family members who had cancer. My mom had cancer in the early 80s, and currently my oldest sister has cancer. And this past year, I've had very close friends who have passed away from cancer. So when I was given this title, I could not refuse. So with that being said, I ask all of you, if you would like to donate. I brought some bracelets here, and it has a QR, and that will take you directly to my dashboard for the American Cancer Association for Real Men Wear Pink Foundation for the Central Valley. So I'm going to give this to the mayor, and then you can pass them around.
Thank you so much, and I'll give you that proclamation. Go take a picture with you.
Okay, I took 4. One's down.
Good night, and thank you.
Thank you, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on to announcements and
Mayor,
reports.
if
Yes.
I may.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. Any comments regarding either proclamation?
This proclamation is not on our agenda tonight, but I want to mention that October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So it's something that we don't talk about. Many have been silent. So I just want to put it out there that, and this happened last year as well, that, that we're cognizant of some of the sadness and tragedies that may occur that we don't even know about. So again, having that voice, bringing that forward, just remember, please, that some people are going through things that you just don't know about, and it affects many, many people. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comments regarding the proclamations, Council? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to, thank you, Martha, for coming out. I appreciate you, and your husband, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to announcements and reports. City staff announcement reports, Vanessa?
Yes, Mayor, our police department has a report.
Thank you.
Super quick for you guys, Mayor, council members, the recruitment for our lieutenant's position and our code compliance officer position is moving forward. Looks like we're going to be super successful in filling both. One thing I did want to bring up and for people in the community as well, our staffing levels in dispatch right now are super critical, so please be patient. When you're calling into the police department, we're managing and getting the shifts covered, but we are running thin. And it's just a matter of us catching up by way of recruiting and training and everything else like that. And that's all I have.
Chief?
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Council, do you have any questions?
I just want to make a comment. This weekend, there's going to be a parade, as
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know. So I'm just requesting, I know that you just said that short staff, but if you can make available as many as you can to.
Yeah, so we're going to model the police protection and presence as we did in the March parade, which should be plenty because we came out of that with zero issues. If we have to, we'll bring in supplemental stuff into dispatch, but we will have plenty of officers on staff, and we've got a great traffic plan to make sure that everyone's safe.
Thank you.
You got it.
Council, any other questions? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. Vanessa, anybody else tonight? No?
No other staff reports, Mayor.
Thank you. City manager announcements and reports.
Mayor, good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, members of the public. I do have just a few items that I wanted to share tonight. This, in the absence of Jackie, I'll try to be Jackie today. So we are hosting the third series of our Downtown Street Fair on Thursday, the 20th. And the theme for this week's fair is Health and Safety Week. Also, we have completed the Lucero Park equipment installation. Our public works is trying to beautify the park surroundings, and they are working on, they're planning on doing a rededication or grand opening the weekend of November. It's planned on Saturday, November 5th. So more information will be shared with our residents as we get closer to that date. So far, we planned this on the weekend, so that way it would be something that it's family and kid friendly. So we're not intruding with the school schedule or anything like that. Next item that I have in here, so tomorrow at 9 a.m. here at the Livingston City Council chambers, the Merced County Association of Governments is going to be holding a workshop, and this is a series of community workshops that they're holding. This is going to be an in-person workshop. They will be holding other virtual workshops, and it is to get community input for the Regional Early Action Plan grant. This funding application, it's due December 31st, and part of the requirements is that they are doing this community outreach, so it could be, the community will have some input on how to use this funding, or what they would like to see this funding being used. And last but not least, Wednesday, October 26th, from 3 to 7 p.m. here in the council chambers as well, there will be an immigration workshop that, and this is, information will be shared through our Livingston Facebook page, through the recreation page. So it will be accessible, and it's free for the residents to attend. And that's all.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for the updates. Council, any questions for Vanessa at this time? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to City Council announcements and reports. Councilmember King?
Nothing to report.
Councilmember Jose Moran?
Well, I just have a question. Is that for legal? Is that something I can do now, or?
Sure.
Okay. I already had this conversation or this question with Mr. White, but when it comes to questions about, for instance, expenses on your invoices, and there's a question in regards to who made that request, where that cost came from. Mr. White said, if it's not confidential, then it should be disclosed without a problem. Is that okay? Is that? I agree with that. Okay. So, referencing back to one of the questions that was brought up today in regards to during public comment, could that be shared in regards to who requested the?
As long as it's not a council member, you guys are the client, so that's pretty.
Well, then I guess we have to have a group conversation again with Mr. White so that we're on the same page. But according to him, the last time I spoke to him, he said that should not be a problem. But.
And I agree, but that there's certain, I'm just saying there's certain limitations.
Okay.
Depending on what the subject matter is.
All right. I guess.
Sounds like we need to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing else to report at this time.
Councilmember Maria Soto?
Nothing to report, but I just had a question for Jennifer, real quick. On the, how much do you think we spend for Alhambra services? The drinking water?
So we could bring you back a report with full information on your basis, if you'd like. I don't have that information offhand. I Councilmember Soto and Mayor and the rest of the council and city management. I am happy to bring back a report of year-over-year expenditures for that service, if you'd like. I don't have that information at hand, other than what's on the report.
Sure, that's fine. I do see what it is. The reason why I ask is that when we are advocating for clean drinking water, I wonder, why is it that we're not also providing Alhambra services for the rest of the city of Livingston? It's just a question. So I just want to see what our expenses are for the total amount of clean drinking water that we provide for within our city halls and city staff. So if I can get those numbers, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd be happy to provide that information to you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Mr. Moran had an additional question?
Actually, not a question, just a comment. And in the past, I was asked whatever happened to my audit that I did in regards to the invoices. And I just want everybody to know that like I shared at one of our previous meetings, all of my findings in regards to my audit that I did for the review of those invoices, copies were shared with every council member for review. So just to, so we're all on the same page in regards to whether everybody was aware of my findings, whether or not anybody had any questions or concerns. That's a different story. That's it. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. In regards to myself, I don't have anything to report tonight. We're going to go ahead and move on to our consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by the city manager or a city council member. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the council or a city manager request that specific items be removed. So we have item number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 tonight. Council?
I just have some very minimal questions, just one question on each one of those items. On item 8 and 9, I can ask that question and then we can still leave them there and then just approve them as, if that's okay, or we can do separate items as you wish.
We could just approve the consent calendar and then have your questions asked for 8 and 9 and then approve those together.
Okay, so then I move to approve the items 4, 5, 6, and 7.
So a motion to approve the consent calendar. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Monica?
Roll call, Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, we have item 8 and 9 questions. Item number 8 is approval memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Merced County and the City of Livingston for FEMA grant application.
Yes, and this is just a question, and this, I already have the answer to the question but I just want for knowledge to the public in regards to this item, which is to approve a memorandum of understanding between Merced County and City of Livingston for FEMA grant applications. And it's just basically, so if anybody else wants to add to it, it's basically an opportunity for the county to apply for the grant on behalf of the cities, in this case, the City of Livingston, for a particular equipment. And then once that grant is granted, and then those items are purchased, because it's being done on behalf of the City of Livingston, that equipment that will be purchased with that grant eventually will still belong to the City of Livingston, and not to the county or CAL FIRE.
Okay. You want to add to that?
Yeah.
Thank
Hello,
you.
my name is Greg Padilla. I'm the battalion chief, and I was the one that wrote the MOU. So basically, the way we approach it, because the last time we were awarded a grant for a self-contained breathing apparatus, is the bottles that we wear on our backs. Livingston and all the incorporated cities that we provide protection to were included in that grant. So allowing us to do a regional grant, and there's basically a couple different ways to apply for FEMA grants, and if you do a regional grant, you have like a higher opportunity to be successful. So we're just doing this to allow us to get into that other category. But yes, the equipment will be kind of put together by county fire and then be distributed out to the cities to put on their fire engines.
Okay.
And this grant did not have a match as well for the cities. The county was going to pay for the match for the cities.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chief. Council, any other comments? We'll take it out for any public comment at this time regarding this item. Okay, we'll bring it back for council. Any motions?
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the item number 8. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Monica?
Roll call, Councilmember Soto,
Yes.
Councilmember Moran,
Yes.
Councilmember King,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia,
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
We have item number 9 now, informational only on the coordination by Merced County Association of Governments for a multi-jurisdictional housing element.
On this, it's just, it was not a question, but more of a, even though it's informational, but without being a separate item, we cannot inform the public what it is about. So I just wanted it to kind of provide, if Vanessa, if you can provide a little bit more, if you can expand on what this is for the public.
Absolutely. Our city, contracted city planner and finance director will be able to expand.
I'll start by saying, since I did write the admin report, that the information only was to present to council the proposal by MCAG to partner with the local agencies on this multi-jurisdictional housing element. So this information was to, or this admin report was to bring the information forward to you so you'd be aware of that proposal. In November, we'll bring back an item for discussion and approval. And at that time, I believe we'll also be holding a public hearing where we can hear public comment as to our participation as well. But I defer to Miguel to add additional color to that.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, city staff, members of the public. This item regards the housing element. The housing element is part of the general plan. The housing element is a policy document in the city's general plan that pretty much contains goals and programs addressing housing in our community. The housing element is required to be updated by the state. We're required to update the document every 6 to 8 years. And this year, we're looking at doing a regional housing element through economies of scale. We will be teaming up with other cities and kind of updating all of our housing elements concurrently. The housing element identifies housing needs, identifies housing constraints, housing opportunities, housing resources, and it also identifies a regional fair share need. Basically, the state is saying, you know what, we're projecting growth, and each community will have to identify how many housing units that they can provide for our community. This is one of the state policies to help address the need for housing that's affordable to all residents in our communities. And so the housing element is that opportunity where we kind of look at how is each city doing and trying to provide housing needs for its community. Again, when you talk about housing needs, the city is not required to develop housing, but to make sure we have land available that it can be developed to provide for a variety of housing. I'm happy to provide additional answers if you have questions.
Thank you. Councilman, any additional questions or comments?
Just one. So even though we have this plan and the idea that we're going to do this, this, and this, so if we have the plan, so that is one thing. But what happens if the minimum what is required is just to approve the building of so many residential units, or to actually build them? Because we can approve them and then it won't be years before they are actually built for different reasons.
Right. Again, the city is not required to build. We are required to identify land where it can be built, so we have to provide the opportunity. We can't force developers to develop. It's all driven by the market, but we have to do our part to make sure there's lots of opportunities. If someone wants to develop housing, then they can. We have also what we call quantified objectives. Without getting into too much detail, the state will say, for example, the city of Livingston has to provide housing for, I'll just say, 2,000 residents. And of the 2,000 residents, we want so many households that are very low income, moderate income, and above moderate. And so we kind of identify goals that can meet that. Each year, the city provides an annual progress report to the state that identifies how we're doing. It's just a progress report, and we bring that to the city council, and that becomes available if anyone has any questions. So at the end, we're not required to build it. All we're required to do is provide opportunities for builders to develop it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, if I may, and just to add a little bit of background too, since we are moving forward with this regional effort between MCAG and all of the other cities in the county, it is part of their requirement that we bring this is step one, bring an informational item to the council. Step two will be the discussion and final direction and decision from the council to approve the city's share of costs for this for this effort, and the future agreement that we will be entering with MCAG and all of the cities to move forward as a region to bring this study put together.
Thank you. Any public comment regarding this item? Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring it back to council. Any additional questions or comments or motions?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Kang.
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Jose Moran. Monica?
Roll call. Councilmember Soto?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Mayor Aguilar?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. So once again, in regards to the discussion and potential action items, item number 10 has been tabled to a later date. At this time, council, any other future items for the future meetings? No? Okay, well, then we're going to go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 7:36 p.m. That is a record. Good job, Vanessa.
No, not at all. Good job to you guys. Thank you.
Martha.
They're not.